everyone, and welcome to the Week 9 edition of Instant Replay, where I give you my take on the most controversial calls of the weekend. I'm Simon Borg. We start with Sunday's matches, and there's plenty to talk about from Toyota Stadium. We had an early red card in the 10th minute shown to Dallas midfielder Je-Vaughn Watson, and it's justified. Look at how Watson goes out of his way to shift the angle of his leg to the right and nail Tim Cahill in the midsection. If Watson had merely jumped straight ahead, he could have probably avoided Cahill altogether. Red's a good call, and a gutsy one by referee Edvin Jurasevich that early in the match. But I'm going to have to go against Jurasevich for his call in the 26th minute. Dallas winger Fabian Castillo goes on a slalom into the box, and Dax McCarty appears to foul him. But instead, the call goes against Castillo, and he's booked for diving. On the super slow-mo, you see how McCarty's knee nicks Castillo's left foot. But in defense of Jurasevich, I can see how he thought it was a dive in real time. At regular speed, it looks like Castillo takes a step, then goes down. Dallas would get their chance at a spot kick in the 58th minute, and it's crystal clear. Cahill pushes Danny Garcia from behind, and Jurasevich points to the spot. The ref nails the call, but Blas Perez fails to nail the spot kick. That being said, the entire sequence probably should have never even occurred. Seconds before the penalty was called, it looks like Castillo pulls down Kosuke Kimura in midfield. To Sporting Park, where the visiting Columbus crew appealed for a penalty in the 58th minute. They allege a handball in the box by Sporting's Oriol Rosell on this blistering shot by Will Trapp. But we see on the replay that the ball does hit Rosell's arm, but it's tucked into his chest. Good no call by referee Ismail Elfat. Trapp was involved in the other big officiating decision in this game, in the 80th minute. The midfielder is already on the yellow card when he trips up Benny Feilhaber, who's breaking out toward goal. Stopping a promising attack like that is grounds for a yellow, the second one for Trapp, who makes his way to the showers. Now, if there's a play for the disciplinary committee this week, it's probably coming from the Colorado-LA match. In the 61st minute, Rapids defender Drew Moore challenges Galaxy forward Rob Friend, who hits the deck as if he'd just been hit in the face. And a PK is called. But on every angle we have of this play, I can't see the contact to the face. Referee Eladio Grajera clearly thinks Friend's been kicked in the face. Why? Check out the long look he gives him when the player finally gets up. But the soccer gods seem to have a hand in what happens next, as LA's Robbie Keane misses the ensuing spot kick, and Rapids manager Pablo Mastroeni says he still doesn't believe in the soccer gods even after that. Another Galaxy forward, Samuel, was looking for a penalty of his own in the 89th minute when he went down on this tackle by Moore, but Grajera doesn't whistle. We can't really tell from the footage available, but Samuel doesn't protest, and the Rapids players can also be seen gesticulating that they feel he went down too easy. No call by the referee, and no card for Samuel either. To Toronto, where the New England Revolution took advantage of a late penalty kick to capture their first ever win at BMO Field. And there's no doubt about it. The shot here is by Patrick Mullins, and you see how Toronto defender Donnell Henry raises his right arm to block it. Referee Mark Geiger calls it, and Lee Wynn puts away the eventual game winner. But one of our instant replay regulars, Michael Drickel, is just not satisfied. He asked us on Twitter, why wasn't it also a red card on Henry for denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity? And he points to the Ibrahim Sekagya handball against the Union from earlier this season. The key word, as always in these situations, is obvious. Sekagya prevented the ball from getting directly to the goal back on April 16th. But in Toronto, there's a few players in the box between the ball and the goal line. That matters. I would have given him a yellow, but Geiger let him off the hook. We're not done breaking down this penalty, though. Toronto head coach Ryan Nelson complained that the play that led to the penalty kick should not have happened in the first place. Because Toronto say they've never seen a corner kick having to be retaken the way it happened at BMO. Here's how it went down. The assistant referee Gianni Facchini clearly tells the corner kick taker Chris Tierney that the ball's not in the arc, and then he raises the flag when Tierney plays the ball anyway. Geiger eventually notices the flag and whistles, ordering the do-over. The Toronto coach feels assistant referees usually step in front of the ball and don't allow the corner to happen in the first place if the ball's not positioned correctly. But although that's customary, there's nothing in the laws of the game that requires an assistant to do that, and I think the assistant here didn't have enough time. Moving on, Toronto fans wanted a PK of their own on the other end of the field for a supposed 51st minute handball by Wynn in the box. But I think it's a good no call on the cross by Jermaine Defoe. You see Wynn lunging to stop the ball with his foot, and his extended arm is simply part of that natural motion. Wynn's not looking at the ball, and he also doesn't have any time to react. Plus, he was a foot away from the ball. It's bang-bang play, ball to hand. Staying at BMO, we look at the play in the 42nd minute when Jackson and Tierney came together and the Revolution left back took the brunt of it. There were some who wanted more than a yellow card here, but I disagree. Jackson was already in motion, and it looks like he's preparing to jump over what he thought was going to be a low slide tackle from Tierney. Instead, the Revs defender bounces right back up, so yes, it's reckless, and even though studs are showing, it deserves nothing more. Now, don't go trying to compare that with what we saw in Frisco between Watson and Cahill. Not apples to apples, in my opinion. But if you wanted a red card at BMO Field, there's one incident that could have produced it, and it wasn't spotted by Geiger. Why? Because it's virtually impossible to see stuff like this in scrums that form on set pieces. But it caught our eye. It's the 84th minute, and we spot shadow this close encounter between Stephen Caldwell and AJ Soares. From here, it looks like Caldwell delivers a knee to Soares' midsection. No need for a spot shadow on this play at Toyota Park between Chicago and RSL. In the 63rd minute, Mike McGee goes after the rebound when his shot hits the crossbar, but he's charged from behind by RSL's Tony Beltran. Yet referee Juan Guzman gives a yellow card to McGee for trying to get his arm to the ball. McGee pleads his innocence, and he's right. Forget the yellow. Beltran's charge from behind was worthy of a penalty kick to me. Could the Fire have had a penalty less than 5 minutes later? You see rookie Harry Shipp dribbling his way into the box, and Luke Mulholland gives him a bump, but I don't think there's enough there for a foul. Play on is the right call for me. None of the calls went the Fire's way in this one. Look at what happened in the 80th minute. Juan Luis Alangono is racing toward goal, and RSL defender Chris Schuler, who's already on a yellow card, goes in with the sliding tackle. He touches the ball, but he also fouls Alangono in the process, and that's a no-no. If the foul is called, that's a second yellow on Schuler for stopping a promising attack. And it's worth mentioning, the Fire were still up 2-1. But as it turns out, there's no Schuler ejection, and Alvaro Saborio and then Joao Plata would turn the game on its head. RSL win 3-2. To Vancouver now, where the battle between Darren Maddox and San Jose's Clarence Goodson was at times dramatic. But there's nothing make-believe about this shoulder-to-shoulder clash in the 7th minute, which sent Maddox flying in the box. I agree with referee Drew Fisher, who allowed play to continue. I think Goodson simply does well to hold his ground. Maddox was a handful for the other San Jose Central defender as well. In the 18th minute, it's the turn of Victor Bernardes to get a taste of every MLS defender's nightmare. One-on-one with Maddox at full speed. The Jamaican uses the cut move to breeze by Bernardes, who trips him up. Cap star Pedro Morales does the rest. The Quakes got a penalty of their own in the 44th minute after this foul by Jay Demerit on Alan Gordon. Yes, Demerit gets his head to the ball, but he rams into Gordon's back to do it. The whistle's spot on, and Chris Wondolowski converts. It's an overall clean game for referee Fisher and his crew. He also spots the handball in the box by Vancouver's Gershon Kofi in the 81st minute. The goal did not count, and rightly so. To Cascadia, where the Sounders needed a dramatic late goal to beat the Philadelphia Union, but I think they could have had a penalty as early as the 29th minute. You see here how Zach McMath comes out to try to poke the ball away from the feet of Obafemi Martins, but he also cuts out Martins' legs from under him. That's penalty kick worthy to me. The Sounders did get a penalty 10 minutes later when Amobi Akugo was called for the handball in the box in the 39th minute. He's on the ground and he nudges his elbow to deflect the ball. It was probably just instinct at that point, and referee Silvio Petrescu sees it and awards the spot kick. But the Sounders can't take advantage. Although the Sounders ultimately won the game, they may have to sweat it out this week when it comes to Clint Dempsey, who may have gotten himself into some hot water with the disciplinary committee. Check out this stoppage time foul on Aaron Wheeler, which earns him a caution card. But now take a closer look. In my opinion, he leads with his left elbow into Wheeler's head. He was lucky not to get a straight red on that one, in my opinion. Next, we head to StubHub Center for Saturday night's Chivas Dynamo match, where 2 penalty kicks were awarded. The first one comes after just 6 minutes for the Goats. Carlos Alvarez beats Brad Davis to the ball and has this great first touch. Davis is late making up ground and takes him down. That's a stone-cold PK put away by Cubo Torres. The Mexican forward wanted another penalty in the 61st minute, but this is a good no call. Torres trips when he himself runs into Kofi Sarkody's leg. The second penalty at StubHub Center came in the second half. Chivas goalkeeper Tim Malia brings down Will Bruin in the 67th minute, but it's a 2-for-1 deal because it's also denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, and for the second straight week, a Chivas goalkeeper is sent off. But I say there should have been a second Chivas player ejected in this one. 4 minutes into the second half, and look at this 2-footed studs-up lunge by Oswaldo Minda on Servando Carrasco. That's endangering the safety of her opponent, and it was right under the nose of referee Soren Stoica. And we end with this one from Portland. It's the 58th minute, and referee Ricardo Salazar awards DC a penalty kick after what initially looked like a footy danso handball in the box. But that was before he consulted with the assistant referee, who lets him know it was an optical illusion. The ball actually hits off Footy's head, and instead of a penalty, it's a drop ball. But what matters most, the referee crew got it right. That's all we have for this week. For our editor, John Benton, I'm Simon Borg. See you next time.